Monday Sidekick, the AI agent that knows you and your business, thinks ahead and takes action. Ask it anything. Seriously. Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today on monday.com.
To be honest, I think surrender is one of the most powerful words out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we can learn to surrender, we will see that the universe will work in our favor. We need to let go of the control. And that is one thing I learned initially from my diagnosis and starting my healing journey was I can't control everything, nor should I have to, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so surrendering to that is one of the most important steps you can take in any kind of healing journey.
You're listening to Make Some Noise podcast, episode number 704 with guest Stacey Garcia. Welcome to Make Some Noise podcast, your guide for strategies, tools, and insight to empower yourself. I'm your host, Andrea Owen, global speaker, entrepreneur, life coach since 2007, and author of 3 books that have been translated into 18 languages and are available in 22 countries. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a lesson that will help you maximize unshakable confidence, master resilience, and make some noise in your life. You ready? Let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am so glad that you are here. I am also so glad that we are approaching December 9th, which for me, that means my 4th book is coming out. Live Like You Give a Damn, 25 bold truths to get honest, face the hard stuff, and show up for yourself. December 9th, she's coming out. And it would be so amazing if you pre-ordered the book. I would humbly and directly ask. If you like this podcast, you will definitely like the book. And with it, and actually anybody can come to this, even if you decide not to buy the book, on December 18th, let me double check that I get that right before I hit publish on here. Yes, it's December 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm hosting a live workshop called Live Like You Give a Damn as the World Burns, because that's what we're all facing right now. And it's stuff to think about for the new year that will keep you grounded in your own personal growth while the world seems to be burning all around us. So if you go to andreaowen.com/LLYGAD, you can pre-order the book there. It's available at all major book retailers, as well as sign up for the free workshop. I would love to see you there before Christmas time and say hi, gather, ask questions. I'll save time for Q&A. I love to actually connect with you guys in that way. So for sure, please try to show up for that. And I have an amazing guest on here for you. She has such an incredible story, and I can't wait for you to learn more about her. It was an amazing conversation. Let me tell you a little bit about her. As a third-generation dancer, Stacey has always prioritized health and wellness. With over 15 years of experience in the fitness industry, she transitioned into the wellness space as a personal trainer and health coach, eventually co-owning a boutique fitness studio with her husband. In 2024, a cancer diagnosis led her to reinvent herself, becoming a Reiki master practitioner and launching her own podcast, Never Miss a Monday. Now she is passionate about guiding others on their journey to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. So without further ado, here is Stacey. Stacey, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. I'm so happy to meet you. I've heard so many wonderful things about you for so long. So.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm sure they're all true.
I'm sure.
I have so many questions for you, so I want to make sure that I jump in and to try to get through all of them. I want to start from the beginning, and like, how did you get here to do the work that you do? Was it like a moment that you had, or were you born to do this and always sort of knew? Did you come out of the womb evolved, or how did you get here?
That's a great question. How did I get here? I was a dancer growing up.
Okay.
So I had the love of movement ingrained in my soul, I think, from the moment I was born. And with that, I also had to learn how to care for myself in a way that I would have sustainable energy for dancing. So I remember when I was at my peak with taking classes, I was in college. I was taking like 8 dance classes a week. I was teaching dance classes to young children after I got out of class. Like I was literally moving all the time. And I had to kind of learn how to fuel my body. So my love of nutrition, I think, started around that time. And then I became a professional dancer. In my late 20s, I kind of made a pivot and I was like, okay, I don't want to be waiting tables and getting jobs here and there forever. I really want something more sustainable. So I joined my husband's gym and I worked there for 15 years. And I was a personal trainer, health coach, and I designed lots of different classes and all that fun stuff, and lots of like weight loss programs. And it was just really amazing. And when that gym was coming to a close, strangely enough, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm.
And we were closing the gym the week before I had surgery. And I kind of got the chance to reinvent myself and really take the time to figure out my next steps in life. So it was a strange silver lining of getting cancer, to be honest, and
Yeah.
the gym closing and like, okay, where do I want to go with this? I wanted to start a podcast, and clients at my gym, you've been on their podcast. So Laura Cathcart Robbins and
Oh,
Scotty
yeah.
Slaughter, that's
Mhm.
how we became really good friends. They were clients of ours for a while. And I took a podcasting course from Laura. And I was like, oh, this is like a creative outlet that I need in my life. And so I hooked up with Scotty as my producer and I was like, let's make this happen. And then I got diagnosed and I was like, okay, we're still going to make this happen, but let's have this pivot. And this pivot became, I felt like really purposeful for me, where yes, I get to talk about all of these amazing lifestyle practices that I hold so dear to my heart. But now they have such a larger meaning because they really helped within my diagnosis, surgery, recovery from cancer, and what I'm doing
Mhm.
with this now. So, long story short, yes, I feel like it's always been a part of me, but it became even more enhanced after a cancer diagnosis.
Well, I would love to use that as a jumping off point. And I know you've shared publicly navigating breast cancer. And so did that experience, so you kind of grew up in a wellness, like surrounded by wellness, with having
Yes.
dance be such an integral part of your life, and then moved into college and was still doing it and even after that. But did breast cancer sort of change your mind or shift your thinking around wellness in general? Like, did you have to kind of question anything?
Absolutely. And that's a question that most people don't ask. And I love that you asked that because I thought I was about as healthy as you can be.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was like I eat plant-based, I meditate every day, I exercise every day. And so when I showed up to the surgeon's office, he was like, you don't know how lucky you are. You've got all these wellness practices in place. There's nothing you could have done differently. I didn't accept that. And I was like, there's definitely something I could have done differently. And listen, at this point, we're learning 5 to 10% of breast cancer is genetic. So the rest is environmental.
That's
So,
really not a lot.
no,
That
isn't
goes
that
against
wild?
what we've been taught previously.
Oh, absolutely. So my doctor is like, okay, we're going to do genetic testing. You're an Ashkenazi Jew. It's for sure
Oh,
genetic. Like
so am
he was
I.
like, oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Love it.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is genetic. I'm like, I've never even heard that. Like, this is genetic. Came back completely not genetic. And so there's environmental aspects that we don't always have control of, but there are a lot that we do. So I did have to take a deep dive in all of my products, makeup, skincare, cleaning product, like everything environmental in my home. Obviously, when we step out of our own home, we don't have as much control. And it's learning how to not stress and realize just be in control of what you're in control of. Now, what I realized and what I've seen from a lot of breast cancer survivors is ask them, what was your year like before you were diagnosed? And
Mm.
most women will say it was the most stressful year of my life. And I will tell you, it was a very stressful year of my life.
That's a good question. Can we pause for just a second?
Yes,
And I want
yes,
you to
yes.
continue. So
Hmm.
pin it. That question, because what came up for me immediately, because I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder
Mm.
in 2022,
May I ask which one?
Hashimoto's.
Okay.
Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And if somebody would have asked me like what happened the year before you were diagnosed, I would have said it was one of the most brought me to my knees emotionally, mentally, it was a bad year. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's an important
Right.
question to ask yourself. So
So
thank
it
you for
makes you
that.
think, yeah, no, because and anyone with any kind of illness, I mean, I really want you to like stop for a second and think where you were mentally, emotionally, spiritually
Mhm.
in that time. And I do believe, listen, I'll never know, but I'll tell you right now what I feel like the culprit was how I was handling my chronic stress.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, I meditated in the morning for 8 minutes when I got out of bed, but what about the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like a wake up call to start. So right now, what I like to do is, and my mental cue is getting inside of a car. So when I get inside of a car or I exit a car, I take intentional breaths. And it's kind of like a transitional period. And that's how I remember to have deep breaths like throughout the day to slow my nervous system down. And so I do believe that stress can wake up a lot of illness in the body.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's not realistic to think that we're going to live a stress free life, but we do need to be more woke on how we handle the stress in our life and not let it eat us up. And that's a whole practice in itself, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think, oh my God, this is such an important topic because I believe that we don't even realize how much the stress is actually eating us
Yes,
up because we
absolutely.
haven't been given any other options to live
Absolutely.
as women.
As women. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that statement more. So, what do you do? Are there certain things that you do now that you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder that you have changed in your life?
Yeah, I left my marriage. Divorce. Well, it's and it's interesting. I just got off the phone with a dear friend and colleague who is filing for divorce, and she's 52. So it's like the middle age, like realizing how much stress. I
Mm.
just want to acknowledge for people listening, like that, it's 2025. I'm a firm believer, and I don't think many people would argue with me that as humans, we were not meant to live a life like this, where we are mostly sedentary, looking at a screen for our work, where we are disconnected from community, where we are being bombarded with the atrocities
Mhm.
of the world every single day, and also expected to do something about it,
Right.
and take care of our families. And like our nervous systems are not only running on empty, but just completely not built for this. It makes me not be able to put words together for it,
I
obviously,
know.
because it breaks my heart
Mm.
that so many, not just women, but like all humans are having
Mm.
to deal with this. And to bring it back to this conversation is the everybody, I think, gets to a place where they realize the impact that stress is having on them. And I think that sometimes it happens from a breast cancer diagnosis or an autoimmune diagnosis, or
Mm.
it can be smaller things, just
Mhm.
like you snap at somebody at Starbucks and you realize, like, this isn't how I usually behave. What's going on? And so my question is, like, when you realized the decision that you was probably best for you
Mhm.
in terms of changing your life when you first got your breast cancer diagnosis, was there something that you had to kind of come to terms with in order to make
Mm.
these big decisions that was hard?
Man, I might have to sit on that question for a
I
second
know, I
because
tend to
that is
do
a
that.
layered, beautiful question, and I love it. To go back to your point of we're not designed for this go, go, go lifestyle, having this forced recovery healing period in my life forced me to sit in silence, forced me to start this healing journey and to look at every aspect of my life. Because once you're diagnosed with something, you want to do everything in your power so it either doesn't come back or doesn't get worse. And
Yeah,
you
and so
need
you
to,
survive.
and so you
You
survive,
don't
right?
die. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I was like, I've got two young children. Like, I've got to stop messing around here. Like, I need to really, and I think I was the yes girl for a very long time, like overextending myself. I was known as the glue in my friends group where like everyone knew that I was holding it together, making sure we were all getting together. I was the hostess all the time. And I ended up starting a Reiki healing journey 2 weeks into my recovery from breast cancer. Reiki healing is an energy healing source. And my sister had gifted me a couple of sessions, and it was so empowering for me. And my Reiki healer immediately was like, Stacey, you are the oak tree. Like, you need to kind of take a second and let other people be there for you
Mm.
instead of overextending yourself all the time. So that honestly is something that I have really had to be cognizant and making sure that every relationship should be 50-50 here. It shouldn't be me all the time. And to be honest, I'm still working that out where letting people invite me over and stuff like that. I'm like, naturally, I'm like, why isn't this happening more frequently? But it's important to kind of take a pause and reflect on how you're handling life. And it kind of showed up in all of my relationships, how I was handling stress. I read Mel Robbins's book at the very beginning of the year, The Let Them Theory,
Mhm.
and really learning how to let people do what they're going to do. Because naturally, I'd be like, well, why are they doing that? And I would take everything personally. Let
Mhm.
them, and then let you figure out how you're going to go about with responding. And that helped me so incredibly in my
Mhm.
healing journey. And I still kind of go back and reference that piece of work. It's not anything new, but I think I needed to hear it, at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, oh, and I want to ask you about Reiki too, because that's on my list of questions for you. But I want to say this one term that my audience knows I've been sort of really kind of pounding into everybody's brain is the concept of self-abandonment and like how much we do this and without realizing it. And so self-abandonment is, things like poor boundaries. And the way I describe it is because I love a good metaphor,
Mhm.
especially a poetic one, is that anytime you find yourself walking away from yourself in order to walk towards someone else, sometimes in order to run towards someone else, to
Mhm.
save the day, to be the
Mhm.
helper, to be the
Mhm.
hero. I think that as women, we're socially conditioned to be
Right.
that way. Anything less than that is considered selfish or, like you're falling short in some way. And so that self-abandonment topic. Let me ask you about Reiki. So
Mhm.
can you, I think that there might be some people listening who don't know what that is. So can you start by telling us like
Right.
what is Reiki? Because it can feel very mystical to people. And how do
Right.
you explain its role in stress management or stress regulation?
I think it's mystical too. Sometimes I'm just like, is this really happening? This feels like magic. No, but
Yeah.
it's
I
something we all
still like am,
have.
am like, I'm like, is it real? Like I'm still a little skeptical.
It I'm telling you, it is. And
I
it's
know. I
something
know it
we
is.
all have. Like it's not anything that it's not inhuman. Like we all have this. I've been programmed in order to become a vessel to use this energy. I feel it. Like I can feel when the energy isn't flowing and then when it is flowing incredibly. So my
Mhm.
hands get like really warm and almost like itchy when I feel like the energy flowing out.
Okay. Is that
So,
like during a Reiki session or just
during
like
my
in your
Reiki
everyday life?
sessions, yeah,
Okay.
during my
What does
Reiki.
a Reiki session look like? Like, is it like a massage? Like,
So,
what is
so
it?
Reiki is like universal energy.
Okay.
Okay. And it is not massage. Some of it's hands on, some of it is not hands on. And you do lay usually like on a massage table. And then the Reiki healer, and you close your eyes and you relax, and the Reiki healer can attune to where your body needs healing. And so we really focus on the seven chakras, your energy centers of the body. And I can feel like Reiki masters can feel where you need any kind of attunement.
Mhm.
And so, and and sometimes I will get intuitive. I am not psychic by any means, but I will get intuitive feelings as to some things are getting brought up emotionally that I can kind of tune into as well. In a session, I like to talk to the client for like a half an hour beforehand.
Okay.
And then within that, and then we go into our Reiki healing, which, it all depends, 15 to 20 minutes. And for the person laying on the table, they can feel all different kinds of things. They can feel just super relaxed. I remember walking out of my first Reiki session or my second Reiki session, driving home in Los Angeles traffic on the freeway where people were cutting me off and I could have cared less. Like I feel it makes me feel like my most authentic, relaxed, connected self. So that's like baseline.
Yeah.
Other people can actually get really emotional. And a lot of times, if I work on someone's heart chakra, and they have some trauma that's stored there, they will emotionally release it and might start crying on the table.
Mhm.
There are people that will actually feel or even start seeing colors or shapes a
I do
lot.
that.
Yes, and I do that
Colors.
too. And that usually ties into the chakra that you're feeling. And so it's really, really, really interesting. It's Japanese form, but its roots come from India, Bible days. We're talking, this has been around forever.
Yeah.
It's just been we've just become more popular over the last few decades.
I have never heard somebody say that some people see colors and shapes. So I
Mm.
had one experience where I saw I felt like a rectangle in my entire torso, and it was blue, and it was sort of like an ombre blue, and then I
Oh,
felt like I'm very somatic when I go into
okay.
exercises like this, and it's always so hard to explain. So I use a lot of
Right.
metaphors, but it felt like a almost like if you dropped a huge boulder into a small body of water and it just like whoop, and like
Mm.
exploded. Those are the types of things I see during Reiki.
Very
Who is
normal.
Reiki good for?
Anyone.
Okay.
Literally anyone. So if you need any kind of healing or you just want to
Okay.
feel really relaxed, right? So it could be for anyone that just wants a moment.
Mhm.
I do self Reiki on myself when I just need a moment to breathe, honestly. But it could be for someone that has a physical injury and you need some healing. It could be emotional, spiritual, or literally just like I just want to relax and enjoy myself. It could be
Yeah.
really for anyone.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna switch gears here when we
Sure.
get back from we take an ad break. And I want to ask you about let me switch gears a little bit. I'm gonna ask you about body image. So we'll be right back. This show is sponsored by MIDI Health. Let's be real. Midlife healthcare for women, historically trash. If you've been told, like I have, it's just aging or you'll be fine when you're not sleeping, you're sweating through your sheets, or feeling like a stranger in your own body, you are very much not alone. Even today, 75% of women seeking menopause or perimenopause care are left untreated. That's not okay. But there's good news. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is a women's telehealth clinic founded by experts in midlife health, and they actually listen. You get one-on-one, face-to-face care tailored to your unique needs. And they're the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance, making expert care accessible and affordable. From hormone therapy to weight loss support and lifestyle coaching, MIDI has your back. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized, insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
It's that time of year again. When you start arranging pumpkins on the stoop, try out a new cranberry sauce recipe, and plan out a tablescape that'll outdo last year's. In other words, it's when you break out all your DIY holiday skills. And now, ADT is making it easy to DIY your home security too. Their systems aren't just simple to set up, they also fit within your budget. So get excited for your next project, because your peace of mind just went DIY. Visit ADT.com or call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. When every second counts, count on ADT.
The Who's Down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Okay, we're back. So you have talked about intuitive eating and the nervous system's role in body image,
Mhm.
which I've never thought about that. Really, because I've
Mhm.
of course thought about body image a lot as a woman in the United States of America. And so, what's one belief about food or bodies that you would love to retire for good?
Ooh, retire.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you right now that one quote unquote bad meal will make you fat, or one quote unquote healthy meal will make you skinny. I hate hearing that. It's a lifestyle, it's consistency. There's no shame in eating dessert or having a hamburger and fries. It's all about balance in life
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how you feel.
and how you feel. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any non-negotiables, like the simple things that you do, especially like in a hard week?
That is my go-to or my non-negotiables. And you'll know when you go on my show. That's what I ask everyone. Like, I want to hear our non-negotiables. So for me, it's eating a plant-based whole foods diet.
Hmm.
That makes me feel really good and energetic. Meditating every day and stress reduction throughout the day is a non-negotiable for me. Daily exercise. I call it mindful movement now. It can be something where I'm walking in nature, which I've added to my repertoire of exercise because that makes me feel the best. Strength training, Pilates or yoga, I just mix it up all the time, whatever my body wants. Community, making sure that I'm strong in my community. A growth mindset, reading, listening to thought provoking podcasts every day. I know I'm missing tons, but
Yeah.
those are like my non-negotiables in life.
Okay. That you kind of flip through from time
Mhm.
to time. Okay, so for someone who is listening to this and they're like, "Oh my God, that's a lot of like things to check off."
Right.
For someone who's like just starting out in this journey and they're maybe a little bit skeptical about things like Reiki, like the kind of things that
Mhm.
are a little bit more outside the box, or maybe they don't have time.
Mhm.
Is there something that you would recommend for people to sort of tiptoe into and maybe start with?
In the spiritual world, you're
Yeah,
talking more about?
spiritual, emotional, mental. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many great resources with apps or even YouTube that you can
Hmm.
go. So Deepak Chopra, I love his voice. I think it's really nice to listen to something guided at the beginning. Don't
Yeah.
just throw yourself into something where you're sitting quiet by yourself and you're like, why isn't my
And
mind
you're in charge.
quiet?
Yeah.
You're like, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. This is not what it's about. It's
Yeah.
not about quieting your mind. So it is slowing down your thoughts, but like making sure that they're there. So I love the Deepak Chopra app. I use that almost every single day. That's what I would go to. Find something where someone's voice is really soothing, really calming, and that you get something out of it. And make sure it's just for a few minutes. Don't sit down for 45 minutes if you've never done a meditation before. Like, that's not realistic. So, like,
Mhm.
small, actionable steps, I think, is key. Or even box breathing. I think box breathing is such a great tool
Big fan.
where if you're sitting anywhere, lying down anywhere, you can even be walking and you inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, release for a count of 4, and just focus on that. You'll see your nervous system completely regulating
Hmm.
just from doing that.
There's research that proves that box breathing, and then what is it like the 4-7-8 or the 4-8-7
I
breathing?
forget too, but I know exactly
Yeah,
what
and
you're
people
talking about.
can Google that. I've
Mhm.
definitely used that, kind of on and off with that. And yes, that has helped me. I just am getting more and more convinced that our nervous system at the end of the day is always in charge.
Mhm.
As much as we know, because I'm sure that you hear a lot of people, your clients and people that you talk to about this topic saying, I know from a logical standpoint that I am worthy, that I am capable at my job, and that I'm a good parent or a good partner or a good employee. But I just feel like I'm an imposter, or I feel like I'm failing my kids or my
Mhm.
life. Like I feel like I'm not keeping up. And so what I tell people is like, that's your nervous system talking to you. It just doesn't feel safe in some way. What do you think about that?
That's so normal and natural. I think that we lose our sense of intuition when we're young by authority telling us we need to be a certain way, and it goes against our belief system. So it's kind
Can
of
you say more about
reprogram.
that? Like what, can you
Yeah.
paint that picture a little bit more?
Absolutely. So we're all born with a strong intuition,
Yeah.
knowing what we should do, knowing our authentic self, knowing we are great at these things. But then there are voices starting in our childhood of, no, you shouldn't do that, or no, you didn't do that well, or whatever it is, and pointing and painting this picture of who we are. And when it doesn't feel aligned, we do question ourselves. And that's really natural and normal to do. What I personally do now is find something positive, some kind of mantra online
Mhm.
that I read every single day. And it's different. And that helps me incredibly. Walking in nature
Yes.
quietly, listening to the trees and the birds, like that, having as much silence as possible where you are limiting all external noise will bring you back to that most authentic self. And you'll start trusting yourself that I can, I will.
Yeah. You know what, for what it's worth for the listeners, I love that you brought up walking in nature in
Mhm.
silence because I've always been I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family similar to yours where movement was valued. I grew up a little bit in dance, but mostly it was exercise, like even just like being outside. And I'm of the age where we did that, like in our
Yeah.
childhoods and played tennis a lot and different sports and things like that. And so then I took a little bit of a break in my early 20s, but more or less I've been kind of on and off, not perfectly consistent, but something with movement. And now I'm 50, my body has told me like we're done with running and like high impact stuff. So I walk and I do slower movements. They're just easier on my body, just less jarring. And here's one thing that I've implemented over the last few years. Honestly, like when I decided to leave my marriage, like hiking saved me. Hiking and screaming in my car were like the two, I mean it, were the two things that I think saved my soul. And I just want to underscore what you said about this is an exercise I've given plenty of clients is when you go for a walk, don't listen to a podcast.
Mhm.
You can listen to music, but make sure it's music that makes you feel peaceful and maybe turn the volume down a little bit. And even admiring nature. So as we're recording this, it's kind of mid-October and
Mhm.
the leaves are just starting to change. And so I'm doing things like admiring the fact that that every tree is different in terms of how the leaves change and like how cool that is that that's based on like how the sun is moving and or not the sun moving, but like how the the earth is turning and even things like the butterflies and like I have found that it's very true what researchers say about admiring nature and just taking the
Mhm.
time to focus on it. There is so much wisdom in
Mhm.
nature, you guys. And
Mhm.
when we pause to admire it, I'm a believer that we absorb it.
Oh, we absolutely do. No
It
question
becomes a
about
part
it.
of
It's
it.
scientific.
Is that part scientific too?
It absolutely is. So if you go to other countries such as Japan, doctors will prescribe walking in nature. It actually can change your cells.
Okay, I'll believe it.
And it really is. I've read forest bathing books,
What is it called? Forest bathing?
forest bathing. That is the
Okay.
English term of it. Yes. So there's so much information out there, so much research that proves not only can walking in nature is it good for your physical body, it's incredibly healthy for your emotional and mental as well as what's actually happening inside with your cells. It's amazing and it's underrated, and it doesn't have to be a hike. If you have a park nearby, somewhere with trees, anything accessible, do it like at least a couple times a week, as much as you can,
Yeah.
honestly.
Even if you have a patch of grass to go
Yes.
get barefoot and put
Oh,
your feet
absolutely. Grounding.
in
Hmm.
the ground. Yeah. Well, speaking of health, you have several podcast episodes where you talk about self-advocacy in healthcare and life transitions. And I have had the experience of being, I mean, it was essentially medical gaslighting. My doctor was very nice about it, which I think made it even harder to see because I really liked her and trusted her as a doctor. But the long and short of it, I was diagnosed with depression and just perimenopause symptoms, but
Oh,
I knew something was
Mm.
long. Even like right now, I'm experiencing some symptoms. That's why I had to cancel on you earlier in the week. But like intuitively, I know that this is just, it's not anything that I need to worry about. But back then, I knew I was like, these symptoms are not depression. And anyway, my question is like, do you have like a go-to sort of advice or a script even for women to advocate for themselves when they feel not smart enough to talk to the doctor or nervous or apprehensive or second guessing themselves? Because that's what I did. I was like, am I making all this up? Am I making these symptoms up? Do you have advice around that?
Yes. Number one, it's already in you. So trust those voices that say, this doesn't feel right. I need more answers. Okay. So trusting yourself is number one. Number two, when you get to somewhere, some doctor's appointment, and they're saying, oh, it's nothing, or it's this, that, and the other,
Or
and
they're
it
rushing
doesn't,
you.
yeah, don't take that. Find another doctor. The best thing you can do is find people that you trust on your team.
Mhm.
So my breast cancer was not caught in a mammogram. It was actually caught, my husband actually caught it.
Mhm.
I had a crazy dream. It like shook me to my core. I woke up and he was like, it's okay, it's okay. And he felt a lump. I moved so quickly. The next day I had a mammogram, it came back clean. I was like, no, I really felt like something was wrong. And so I had to advocate for myself, talk to other people that have gone through similar situations and symptoms, because there's a lot of power in the community of hearing other people's stories. Like I had friends that said, no, Stacey, ask for the ultrasound. I wouldn't have known to have done that on my own. When it was time for, after even my diagnosis, and they're like, this is your treatment plan. You're going to be on chemo drugs for 5 years. No big deal. Of course, it was a male doctor telling me that, and
Mhm.
it was debilitating. And I started doing my own research and I met with a homeopathic doctor that helped me a bunch. So I would say, look at the whole enchilada. Like, don't just take what a doctor is saying to you. Become the CEO of your own health and
Mhm.
do your own research by looking stuff up and talking to other people and getting multiple opinions until you feel like you have been heard and seen and you know what is going on. And then you can have a plan of action.
Yeah. You made me think of, I think that as women, if we're lucky, we have different types of girlfriends. And I
Hmm.
think if you're even luckier, you have the one friend who will get her fiery torch and light it and like go to bat for you,
Absolutely. Yeah.
like she's probably an Aries. That's the person I think I would call. And that's my friend Kate
Hmm.
Anthony. It's like, oh, if I need encouragement about getting fired up about something,
Yes.
that, look to that friend. Don't look
Yes.
to the friend who's like the more mild personality, who's going to be like,
Right.
well, maybe your doctor's right.
Right. I love it. I have an Aries cousin who is my go-to for firing me up too. So I
Yeah,
totally get that.
have that person.
Hmm.
So, how do you see the interplay going back to sort of more like energy modalities? How do you see the interplay of energy work and conventional medical treatment? Do you see a convergence or do you see them as totally separate practices?
I think we need all of them.
Okay.
So when you find a great functional medicine practitioner, I think that's the key. And they're out there. Usually they're out of network and really
Yes.
expensive. And
Mhm.
so I had an MD as well as a PhD. They were separate because I couldn't find one that had both. But I think that that is the future of our healthcare. You need to have someone that can treat symptoms, but also someone in more of the prevention mindset of like, why did this happen to, begin with?
The root
Let's kind
cause.
of dig deep and figure that out so something like this doesn't happen again. And I think we need both, honestly.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, and that's essentially what I did, and I agree with you. It is a luxury and a privilege to be able
Yes.
to afford that because yeah, at the time I could afford to pay thousands of dollars out of pocket for the functional medicine doctor. Like now that would be a big
Mhm.
stretch as a single mom, like on the
Yes.
last leg of my divorce.
Yes. Right. It's so true.
Yeah, it's tricky. But there are lots of free and there's lots of free information out there
There
about
is.
different types of help and resources and things like that. I'm curious now, that last answer that you gave me is, what is your prediction for, like, we're definitely in a period of some kind of change, I think, culturally, socially, even like as a whole planet. Where do you see energy healing and just energy work and all of that, even in the
I
next
think
like 5 to
it's
10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's integral. I think it's becoming more aware right now. People are coming out talking about energy work. Acupuncture is a form of that, and we've had that for so long, and insurance covers acupuncture. That's the Chinese version of
Yeah.
like the Japanese Reiki. So I do believe there is a huge space for it, and I'm really hoping it becomes part of a lot of people's healing journey, and not just as they're going through something, but preventative as
Mhm.
well. So, yeah, hooking up with any kind of energy healing at any point, I think is so beneficial. And I hope in 5 to 10 years, it's part of what everyone does, like going to the doctor, like going for a massage or a facial. It's part of self-care.
Yeah, I just think it can be so helpful with mental health struggles too.
Absolutely.
We need to take another ad break, and when we get back, I want to talk to you about control.
All
So we'll
right.
be right back, everybody.
We find Vecna, we end this once and for all, together.
On November 26th.
We have a plan. It's a bit insane. Everyone in?
He knows where we are.
Watch out!
Get ready for one last adventure.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends, no matter the cost.
Found you. Stranger Things, the final season, begins November 26th. Only on Netflix.
Oh, Hilton stay. Your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Hello, I'm Diane Morgan. If you know who I am, you know who I am. If you don't, who cares? I'm here to explain Italian Time, a holiday phenomenon where Italians throw away their clocks and gather for eternity with San Pellegrino. I've been at this party so long that I've eaten 5 courses, hugged someone's grandma twice, and been offered a job in the family restaurant. So this holiday season, make sure to bring enough San Pellegrino to last you through the meal, the after meal, and the entire goodbye ritual. San Pellegrino, holiday on Italian Time.
Okay, I have a hunch, and I don't know for sure, so correct me where I'm wrong, but like anytime I hear somebody telling a story about how, you were in competitive dance growing up, like I imagine there was maybe some struggles with things like perfectionism and control and certainty, and also just like growing up as a human in our culture, it's like our nervous system's like certainty, and so control usually becomes a coping mechanism. As you've integrated energy work, has your relationship with control changed specifically?
Absolutely. And that I laugh because it's so true. It really, really did change. I saw it a lot growing up, not necessarily within myself, but when I was a dancer, and I remember being on sets where it was known that girls were in the bathroom throwing up. Like it was all over the place. And I at one point wanted to become a nutritionist for dancers to kind of help with the body image that a lot of dancers go through. Now, I'm kind of still in that realm. It's shifted and it looks a little different, but yes, as soon as you start energy healing, and I had a double mastectomy, and I still have body image issues. Even if I look at myself and I see my scars and I feel so blessed with how far medicine has come, I still struggle with all of that too. But having the energy healing has helped incredibly with the day to day and how to handle and work through that, which I don't think I would have had if it weren't for Reiki.
Do you think, and the reason I ask that is like partly selfish and partly because I had a little bit of a hunch as someone who has struggled with the same thing, and my audience knows this because I talk about it all the time. I have the word surrender tattooed on my left arm after my dad died. Yesterday actually was the 9-year anniversary of his death. And when I got the tattoo, like I knew it was an important word to me, but I didn't totally know how it would play out. I just intuitively knew I wanted to get it tattooed on my arm in my own handwriting. Well, funny enough, the universe is hilarious. And it's been really the crux of my own personal growth journey. And I think it can be helpful for so many, like defining what surrender means to you, as well as practicing it and integrating it. And I have found, and this came more recently over the last couple of years, is energy work. And I did not seek it out. It found me.
It does that. It does that a lot of the time.
I think the universe, like if we don't see and learn the lessons that we were meant to learn, sometimes the universe intervenes, and that happened. And I agree with you. I think if nothing else, it has helped me surrender to the fact that I genuinely don't have a lot of control over anything. And the easier and faster and more gracefully I lean into allowing things to unfold, especially allowing people to behave the way that they are going to behave. And knowing that that has nothing to do with me. And this is a very important that I want to say, especially because you mentioned the let them theory. And to be fair, I have not read the book, but I think when we compartmentalize and sort of like miniaturize the quote unquote let them theory, we leave out a boundary conversation where it's like, yes, let them. And sometimes we need to set boundaries and have hard conversations. So that's like kind of in a nutshell what energy work and letting go of control and leaning into surrender has given me.
Well, to be honest, I think surrender is one of the most powerful words out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we can learn to surrender, we will see that the universe will work in our favor. We need to let go of the control. And that is one thing I learned initially from my diagnosis and starting my healing journey was I can't control everything, nor should I have to, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so surrendering to that is one of the most important steps you can take in any kind of healing journey. So I think that's amazing that you have that tattoo and you have that as a daily reminder.
I kind of hate it sometimes, to be honest with you. I'm like, really? Could I have could the universe have just wanted me to like get my children's names tattooed on my arm? Like, no, I had to get like the hardest personal development lesson of my life. It's not lost on me though, because I won't get into it. But I have one more kind of big question for you before we close up. How do you balance something like surrender and then also getting what could be like a terminal illness or just a really big illness diagnosis, and then like dealing with the treatment plan? Because like on one hand, it's like, yeah, you want to control because you want to thrive, but then you also want to surrender to be able to be at peace with things. So how do you balance the two? Do you have any tricks?
Man, that's a great question. So I think I kind of had to learn it the hard way, honestly. You have to surrender to what's out of your control. However, you do need to have that boundary set as well of like, no, I really am in charge of what I'm in charge of. So it's kind of learning to figure out the difference, what you should be putting your energy into and what sucks your energy out. So you need to kind of sit and be like, wait, is this draining me or is this adding to my energy? So I would sit with that first. No joke. I mean, the moment when I found a lump in my breast until I was diagnosed, and that was a couple of months, were the most excruciating couple of months waiting for answers.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was doing the right things and taking the right steps and doing the research. So then I just had to let the rest of it go and surrender to that as much as possible.
And I think everyone's kind of different how they would approach that. I look at it too as like, you know, my friend Amy Smith always says, like, you're allowed to want what you want. Like, don't make yourself wrong for having feelings of even sometimes like desperation of wanting, the treatment to work, or just anxiety around waiting for an answer from the doctors. Like those types of things are normal. I don't think any human can not go through that. But also just even things like the waiting period, like surrendering to the waiting period, that's where rubber meets the road in terms of our own personal growth. I think that those moments when we are having a struggle with one of our children, find a lump in our breast, like these are the real moments where everything that we've learned from the self-help books and the podcasts and the retreats and the webinars, like this is where, and I tell my clients this, and I'm like, the work isn't when we're on our one-on-one call together, or you're even on the free webinar. Like the work is when shit hits the fan and your behavior and your thoughts come to light.
I could not agree with you more.
It's so hard and it's messy and it's not linear.
It is messy and it's not perfect and it's not linear, and that is okay. Surrender to that.
Yeah. Just, sometimes like bring it to your knees. Well, I have so enjoyed this conversation. I cannot believe like all the time went by. Like
me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Is there anything that I maybe forgot to ask you that's on your heart, or that you want to go back and underscore in order for you to feel complete?
No, not at all. I think this is a beautiful conversation and I appreciate every second of it.
Awesome. Me too. Thank you so much. And where do you want people to go to find more about your work and what you do in the world and your services?
I think Instagram is the happiest place. I love connecting with people. If you're going through any kind of hardship, I'm here for you. You could feel free to DM me. I post a lot of stuff about the Never Miss a Monday podcast on there as well. It's Self-Care with Stacey, and there's an underscore in between each word.
I follow you over there. So easy for you to follow on Instagram. We'll put links in the show notes to your podcast too. You have a podcast, Never Miss a Monday.
Yes.
And the Instagram. All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And listeners, thank you so much for your time. Your time is so valuable, and I appreciate that you spend it with me and my guests. And remember, it's our life's journey to make ourselves better humans, and our life's responsibility to make the world a better place. Bye for now. Hey everyone, thanks again for listening. I would be so incredibly grateful if you haven't done so already, if you could leave a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Super easy if you already listen to your shows over there. But if you don't, or maybe you have the app on your phone, but you listen to the show on a different app, if you could leave a review for this show, it matters so much. I wish I could express how much it matters. I also wish that it didn't matter so much, but alas, it does. So if you haven't already, please go review and rate the show. It would mean so much to me. And thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.